Hello and welcome to day 20 of our October Pilates challenge. Let's go ahead and grab that mat and get started. Begin by laying all the way down, taking that moment to stretch the spine across the room, feeling the length across the tailbone, opening up space across the pockets, lengthening through the upper back and widening through the shoulders, and then drawing that chin down towards your chest as you begin stretching through the back of the neck. And then before we actually go into any movements, let's just tap into that Pilates breath of inhaling through the nose and exhaling out of the mouth. And then connecting that to the core. Inhale, scooping the abs and ribs in. And exhale, wrapping the waistline more. And inhale, adding the inner thighs and the shoulders. And deep exhale. And one more time like that. Inhale, inner thighs, abs, ribs, shoulders down. And exhale. And then keeping that beautiful support, float those legs up as you engage those lower abdominal muscles into tabletop. And now we're ready for low back stretch. Keeping those legs squeezed together. Inhale, twisting them to the right, keeping the shoulders relaxed and the chest open, and then exhale the knees to center. And inhale those legs to your left, and exhale to center, wrapping that waistline. Inhale right, and exhale belly button to spine. Inhale left, and exhale to center. One more full set, right, and exhale, draw the front ribs together, and inhale left, and exhale to center. Now from there, using those ribs, curling the upper body off the floor. So feeling that connection through the rib cage, drawing the abs in so the neck stays long, the chest stays open. And then you're ready for hundreds, right? So placing those feet on the floor or in tabletop or long, choose what feels best for your body today. The good challenge for you. Inner thighs, abs, ribs, shoulders reaching, and now pumping with breath. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale. Let's wake up those lungs. Inhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 4, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 5, 2, 3, 4, 5, huge exhale, expel the lungs, and 6, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, squeeze those inner thighs, and 7, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, scoop the belly in, and 8, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, reach through those arms, and 9, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 10, 2, 3, 4, 5, and exhale, 2, 3, 4, 5. Good. Reach those legs all the way down and lengthen the arms overhead. Take a moment to reach across the room. Go for that nice big stretch. And then relax. Wiggling the fingers and the toes. And let's circle those ankles and wrists for 3 and 2 and 1. And then reverse for 3 and 2 and 1. Fantastic. Coming onto a side, and you choose which one you want to start with. Using your mat as an alignment tool, bring your shoulders and hips near the back edge. Now this bottom arm can be in a multitude of different places, depending on what feels most comfortable for your neck. So explore that and choose what feels best for your body today. Now swing the feet to the front edge of your mat, so they're about 45 degrees forward of you, and this is a nice protective space for the lower back in this next sequence of exercises. Scooping the core muscles in, we've changed our orientation, so this is going to feel a little different, right? Drawing the belly button into the spine, drawing the ribs together, and then paying extra particular attention to these bottom ribs. You want to try to lift those bottom ribs up and off the floor as best you can, right? So you're really getting this deep wrap around your core muscles. Now taking this top hand, let's bring it to the hip so we can monitor that the pelvis is not going to be moving as we go into this sequence. Lifting your top foot up to hip height, so the same distance as your hip socket. And then think of reaching out and across the room as you lengthen through the hip and the leg. And then again, abs and ribs, locking everything in place. So the movement will be of the leg, and the challenge is to keep the torso stable the whole time from your core. So reaching that top leg forward, add a little pulse, and then reaching back without leaning. This is always the fun challenge, and pulse. So we go into kicks, front, front, and back, back, keeping the core pulled in strong the whole time. And now inviting a long breath while you're doing this, relaxing that top shoulder out of the ear, and back, back. We got 5, and back, back, and 4, and reach, reach, and 3. Think belly button to spine, and 2, and back, back, and 1, and back, back. Bring it back to center. Keep reaching out of that hip as you draw the ribs and abs in. And now we draw small circles with the leg. The challenge again, not letting the hip roll around, right? So keeping all the movement in the leg only. Circle for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then simply reverse the direction on that for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Fantastic. Rest that leg down for a moment. All right, starting to wake up some of the outer hip muscles. Now, finishing out this sequence, we go into what's known as point and flex. Now, draw that foot back up to hip height, reaching outwards, abs and ribs pulled in. And now within this, we want to keep the leg parallel. There's a tendency to want to turn out so we can go a little further into the work. Works those hip muscles differently, right? So keeping the toes and knees forward as we lift the leg up. You're going to feel and engage the outside of the hip. Flex that foot and squeeze the inner thighs down, adding a little resistance to that. So we point and lift, and then flex and squeeze down. And point and lift, keeping that reach in the hip, and flex down. Just 2 more. Point and lift, and flex down. 1 more time. Point and lift, and flex down. Now simply reverse the foot, scooping those abs and ribs still in towards you. Flex and lift. Think of reaching out through the heel, and then point and lengthen down, and flex it up, and point down. Breathing through that. Flex and point. Again, keeping it parallel. 2 more. Flex and point. And 1 last time. Flex and point. Fantastic. Come back into the middle of your mat and let's stretch out that hip before we reverse sides. So take the leg you were just working with, ankle over the knee, turning that leg out. You're immediately going to feel that work in the back of the hip. And then hands weave behind the parallel leg to bend those knees in towards you. Going for that little piriformis stretch. Some people will call this thread the needle. Right? Within this, you want to try to even out the weight in the back of the pelvis. So generally the weight will kind of shift towards the leg that's turned out. See if you can draw the leg center. Think about lengthening the tailbone along the floor as the legs come towards you. And let's take 2 deep breaths right here. 1 more. And then relax out of that. And now switching sides. So you can either roll to face the other direction. I will flip around so you can see that movement a little easier. So let's think about that alignment. Shoulders and hips near the back edge, right? Bottom arm, wherever that feels comfortable for your neck muscles. Legs swing forward to the front edge. So we're getting that little extra angle to help protect our lower back. And then engaging the core muscles, abs pulled in, ribs tight, and especially focusing on those lower ribs, drawing those ribs up towards you, hand on the hip, and then bringing that foot up to hip height, reaching long out of that leg, scoop the low belly in, and we go into kicks to the front. Front and back, back and front, front and breathing long deep breaths with that. 3, and back, back, and 4. Draw the belly into the spine, and 5, and back, back, and 6. Wrap the ribs, and back, back, and 7, and reach, reach, and 8, and back, back, and 9, Scoop the belly into the spine, and 10. And back, back. Bring it back to center. Keep reaching through that hip. Draw those abs and ribs in a little bit more. And now those circles, right? Moving just the leg, keeping that hip stable. Small little circles here for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Pause, wrap that waistline a little bit more, and then simply reverse the circle for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. Beautiful. Rest that leg down for a moment, right? Noticing what is kind of wiggling around, what might need a little bit more focused support as we're going into the exercises. It's very easy to try to create these movements actually from the hip in small, subtle little ways. So all of this is creating that stability from the core, and that way we can wake up all these beautiful muscles around the hips. All right, last little sequence. Abs and ribs pulled in. Go ahead and bring that foot back up to hip height, reaching long, long parallel leg as we lift up with a pointed foot and then flex and squeeze the legs down. And we point and lift and flex and squeeze down, keeping that hip long. Point and lift. Notice how that hip kind of wants to roll. Try not to let it. And flex as you lower down. 2 more. And point and lift and flex and lower. 1 more time. Point and lift and flex it down. Let's go to wrap that waistline. All we're going to do now is reverse that foot. So we flex as we lift, and we point and we lower. Breathe through that. Flex and point, and flex and point. 2 more, and flex and point. 1 last time. Flex and point. Beautiful. Come on to your back, and let's stretch out that side. So taking that working leg, ankle over the knee, turning that leg out, even out the pelvis. Hands go behind the parallel leg as you bend the knees in towards you. Breathing into the back of that hip, feeling that release around the back of that working hip. Pulling the car in, right, so you're supporting that back and helping to keep the alignment. And let's take 2 gigantic breaths right here. Inhale. And a nice deep exhale. And 1 more. Inhale. And a huge exhale. And then release out of that. Fantastic. If you have any additional exercises or stretches you would like to do, be fantastic. Otherwise, great job, and I'll see you tomorrow.